Hi, welcome to My Mom Thinks I'm Cool, a channel where we discuss the art that we love, be it film, television, or music. I'm Kim.
And I'm Graham.
And today we are going to be talking about the 1958 film Corridors of Blood, which stars Boris Karloff and features a young Christopher Lee. Graham, why don't you give us just a little bit of an overview of the plot?
So this film follows a surgeon, played by Boris Karloff, who is tired of performing surgeries without anesthesia because it's the 1840s and anesthesia has yet to be discovered. So to find a means of performing pain-free surgeries, this doctor is experimenting with various substances, nitrous oxide, opium, etc., so that he can perform pain-free surgeries and that the medical profession can have access to pain-free surgeries. So he starts performing experiments on people he's performing surgery on, and they don't go well, and the medical establishment actually starts to shun him, and he is forced to perform these experiments upon himself, and he actually becomes addicted to opium, and it's a downward spiral from there.
What I enjoyed about this film is I did find it truly horrific. I was squirming in my seat when there were surgeries that were taking place and you just hear the sorrowful, painful cries of the patients, and just thinking about how traumatic and painful it would be to have surgery without any anesthesia. You know, it's just, you can't help but just feel for the patients and then feel for the doctor, because it's traumatizing for him to have to keep doing this and, you know, wanting to help people but know that he's also hurting them. And then he does come face to face with the fact that sometimes a patient's so traumatized by what happened that they can't really function afterwards. They're just stuck in a state of fear and trauma. And so I actually really enjoyed that level of the film, and I think that Boris Karloff did a really wonderful job in this film in his depiction of the doctor. And I thought the whole cast actually was really well put together, really well cast, and you know, it moves quickly, it has a nice pace about it, and I just thought it was a really fun, horrific horror film to get into if you like vintage horror.
Yeah, and there's a kernel of truth to this story because in 1846 anesthesia was actually invented. So this is kind of like a fictional telling of the discovery of anesthesia, I suppose. And it's interesting because in the context of this film, the medical establishment is pretty fine, seemingly, with the status quo of painful surgeries, and they're prioritizing speed in surgery rather than finding some means of making the surgery pain-free, and that obviously really bothers Boris Karloff's character. But there's this whole subplot that there's this tavern that has this secret little industry of providing the medical establishment with fresh corpses for them to do their demonstrations and experiments upon. And somehow Boris Karloff gets caught up in this these ne'er-do-wells in this tavern that are basically killing people and then selling the corpses back to the medical establishment for profit. And Christopher Lee's character, whose name is Resurrection Joe, ironically, is very much part of the scheme.
Yeah, it's interesting. There's, within Boris Karloff's career in general, there's the genre of corpse stealing and corpse selling.
Right. It seems to have been a real thing back in the day, apparently, or at least in movies. And this does share a lot of thematic material with, I don't know, say Mary Shelley's Frankenstein, in terms of the lone tortured genius performing experiments that the medical establishment has no desire to be part of, and the stealing of corpses and all that kind of stuff. But like I said, this one is based on a kernel of truth.
Yeah, and this doctor is far more sympathetic than Dr. Frankenstein.
Yes, absolutely.
So I definitely recommend trying to find Corridors of Blood if it sounds like it's something that's up your alley, especially if you really like Boris Karloff. We have it because we have the Criterion's Monsters and Madmen DVD box set that we recently got when they had the 50% off sale. So far, loving what's in it. It's the first film we've watched from it.
So, thanks so much for watching, and do check out Corridors of Blood if it interests you. Worthwhile.
Bye!